Hello and welcome. I'm Eric Miskell with EMSNOW on the show floor at IPC Apex 2024 with Augusto from Critical Manufacturing. Augusto, of course, is the head of global sales for that. Augusto, thanks for taking some time away to talk to us. How's it been so far this week?
Well, this week's been awesome for us. So we had prepared this trade show since some time. We scheduled a lot of meetings, so our customers and prospects came by. We had quite a number of interesting sessions, demos. Yep. So as you know, we are a software company, and showing software is a little bit more, let's say, complicated when we are in a equipment trade show. So, but to that extent, they came, they perceived the solution that we have to offer. Being together with ASMPT, as we are an ASMPT company, is quite relevant because we make the bridge from the manufacturing execution system itself, the software itself, to the physical world. So the physical assets that they can see in the ASMPT booth and co-exhibiting with them brought us a much higher visibility as if we were only by ourselves. So to that extent, the trade show was quite successful for us.
Let me tease out a few of the items there. So the primary offering is as an MES.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And the relationship with ASMPT, as you just said, you're owned by ASMPT.
Exactly. We are an ASMPT company, which is actually part of our logo. So yes. An ASMPT company. So ASMPT invested in our organization a few years ago. And from that time onwards, we did a kind of a common journey where we kept leveraging our MES as a vendor agnostic solution. So despite the fact that we are belonging to ASMPT, we are a vendor agnostic solution. We have customers worldwide with many different types of equipment that are not ASMPT. But of course, the power of ASMPT from a commercial perspective, from a level of investment perspective, from a stability in terms of let's say global approach is of course very important for us and gave us a boost, especially in the electronics and semiconductor markets. Yes.
And that's good. I mean, I was going to ask, so that was an important point, that you're equipment agnostic, because what you do, and the MES has been described as kind of the backbone of the manufacturing floor, right? I mean, this is all the data has to come through there. Talk about that and those processes, and that's become more and more complex.
Yeah, that's true. So besides the more physical focused aspect that an equipment manufacturer does, because it's a physical asset that is there in the shop floor addressing a specific process, an MES, and this is a kind of a generic concept, an MES has to look at it from a holistic perspective. So and therefore the importance of being vendor agnostic. So of course, the privileged situation that we have with ASMPT allows us to focus very much in electronics and SMT processes. But then, being in a holistic, let's say, and transversal solution needs necessarily to cover other equipment, other processes that are not even covered by ASMPT because they are providing solutions for specific processes. Therefore, the capability to integrate with those processes, both physical and logical, is extremely important to provide a complete solution that embraces the processes from end to end, from the incoming goods received to the outgoing of the finished goods. And that has to deal with the completeness and strategic approach that an MES should have when embracing a digital transformation program in a factory, which is the case.
And then the differentiator, as critical as is really around the data analytics as well, isn't it?
Yes. So MES is known since many years. Of course, our solution covers the aspects that the traditional MES covers, but we are constantly evolving and investing both in our technology and in the functional aspects of our solution. And we have been seeing throughout the times that it is important, of course, to capture data from the processes, physical and logical of the factory, to the extent of traceability is required. But we want, and we are going much further than that, because a machine like the ones that you see here in ASMPT can generate tons and tons of information. And of course, generically speaking, machines and equipment generate really a lot of data. And sometimes this data is not used for anything, or stays in a file, or stays in a database, and it's analyzed later on. So what we are doing with our complementary architecture that is closely coupled with the MES is providing also a data platform and a solution that is part of the MES itself as a kind of a complementary architecture that allows us to capture all this data. So in a sense and in simple terms, to capture every data that every asset can generate in the shop floor, basically with the unlimited capabilities of storing this data, while at the same time providing a data model definition that allows us to translate this data that is coming from multiple different machines, from multiple different models and equipment vendors into a common data model that can then be easily interpreted by analysis, by an analyst to do advanced analytics, let's say evaluation of the data, to define rules and basically use the results of this analysis directly into MES and directly into the processes, and close the loop between data acquisition, data analytics, application eventually even of advanced analytics and artificial intelligence mechanisms that allows then the MES to react, correct, and keep improving proactively the processes of a shop floor.
Now, that's an interesting point, because it isn't just the data; it's giving a recommendation what to do,
Exactly.
right? What to do with the data, but it doesn't act independently. It still has a human to approve it, or some things,
Well,
depending
yeah.
on the frequency, are able to self-correct.
So the solution itself enables all those things, right?
Okay.
So you see AI everywhere in this trade show. It's a trendy word, but you need to put things in practice. So, and we are in a point of, depending on how the organization trusts the information that is collected, trusts the analysis that is done, and therefore the results of this analysis, how can this be applied? So what we have in our solution is a series of mechanisms that starts from recommending a series of changes and approaches that should be done proactively and reactively in real time in different aspects. So this is a kind of a supervised working mode. So a supervised working mode allows us, okay, the MES has detected this pattern, these trends, or is detecting that failure may happen in a certain point of time, is recommending, or change this parameter, change this process, do this maintenance in advance, or act something manually. So this is a supervisory mode that basically is depending on humans to confirm that this is what is supposed to be done and then execute it. But the real intention is that we go to a full automated mode. So once this trust is, let's say, achieved in the system has capability to basically adapt even the parameters of a machine, as long as there is connectivity, because there was a result of an analysis or a learning mechanism that provided this information that you should probably adjust the temperature a little bit or change a specific process parameter to basically keep the process under control and without failures and more efficient. So this is, in my perspective, of course, an evolution in terms of maturity, of systems maturity, that needs necessarily to happen in the organizations. So have a solution that has the capabilities to provide that information in terms of, in one hand, collect information, be able to use this information and apply the results of this into a series of recommendations, first step. Then once this is matured and once this is, let's say, evolved to a point that organization is completely confident in the software as it is, then we move to the full automation model. Yeah.
And speaking of moving forward, this year will also be the release later of version 11 of the system. Tell us about that.
Well, the version 11 will include a series of additional technology evolutions. So the permanent investment that we do in our MES, because it's actually our core business in critical manufacturing. So we do have a quite significant team that is permanently investing both in technology aspects and in functional aspects. And version 11 will be another one with some innovations, topics related with the latest trends in terms of technologies, in terms of data storage, the basically allowing our customers to decide if they want to stay with the solution on-prem or on cloud-based installation in a completely transparent way, not force them to go in a specific direction, let's say strengthen the capabilities that we have. So in terms of, for example, investment for electronics and SMT processes, our solution is already quite mature, but we will also keep improving and keep basically providing better and faster solutions to our customers.
And how is it for existing customers? That's just a new rev. There'll be an update.
Yeah. So this is something that where we have invested significantly in the recent years, which is the easiness of updating a solution like this. So I remember that many years ago to do an upgrade of an MES or an ERP system could take years and millions. But we no longer live in this world. So we need to have a fast upgrade. We need to have mechanisms that allow automated tests of the solution in our, let's say, staging server, for example, before going into the go live, into deployment for productive usage. And we have implemented a series of mechanisms that bring these upgrades and updates easier.
Okay.
But of course, always respecting the rhythm and the risk, let's say, management from our customer side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, just in closing, we're at the last day of the show. You've been meeting with a lot of people. Is there any new insight or knowledge or anything that your impression that you're taking away from the show?
Well, that's a good question. So one thing that I would take as an insight, and we are now in what we call internally the trade show season. So in 2 weeks, the entire team will be in Germany in the Hanover Messe. It's a very large trade show for us as well. And an adequate preparation of the trade show is of utmost importance. So I think that if you prepare yourself with the prospects that we have, if you try to schedule in advance the adequate meetings, the success of the trade show just pays by itself, because then you are not only busy with things and meetings that you could have, but you're also collecting, let's say, additional insights from additional persons that you are not normally used to talk with. If you visit to the factory, or if you are in a Teams meeting or in a remote meeting, so more people normally comes, and our team is also instructed to ask questions to these people or persons that are not normally involved in these processes, because selling a software is a little bit different than selling a machine.
Yes.
Different sales cycles, different ways of doing things. So when we involve people that is not normally involved, either in equipment vending, let's say purchasing processes or software purchasing processes, you get nice things.
Yeah.
You get to ask and to be asked questions that are not normally asked, and you learn a lot from it. And this serves also to improve ourselves to serve better our customers. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Well, I wish you success in 2 weeks and with the whole trade show season as it launches. And I'm assuming you'll be at Electronic end of the year as well.
Yeah. We'll be present there. So it mixes electronic and semicon. So semiconductor is also one of our core target segments where we have quite a good business, and we'll be there as well.
Good. Well, thank you for the time. I wish you success and a good year.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.